Some men build empires. Others build walls. Marcus Chen built both. For 15 years, he controlled everything: boardrooms, billion-dollar deals, the skyline itself. But control is a funny thing. The tighter you hold it, the more it suffocates you. And on one ordinary Tuesday afternoon, standing in a coffee shop on Fifth Avenue, watching a woman laugh at another man's joke, Marcus discovered something terrifying. He wasn't in control at all. Drop a red heart if you've ever lost control over someone. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back. Back to when Marcus Chen still believed he was untouchable. Some stories are forgotten. Others stay with you forever. Subscribe and never miss the ones that matter. Marcus Chen's morning routine never changed. Wake at 5 a.m. 60 push-ups. Black coffee. Emails before sunrise. By the time most people hit snooze for the third time, Marcus had already made 3 decisions that would affect thousands of lives. His corner office sat on the 47th floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows. A view that made grown men whisper. But Marcus never looked at it anymore. He'd stopped seeing beauty years ago. His assistant, Patricia, 20 years at his side, brought his schedule. Morning meeting with the Hong Kong investors. Lunch with Senator Williams. The Riverside property acquisition at 3. Evening gala at 7. Marcus didn't look up from his screen. Cancel the gala. Sir, you've canceled the last 4 social events. Then, I'm consistent. Patricia hesitated. She'd watched this man for 2 decades. Watched him build an empire from nothing. Watched him become harder, colder, more alone. Mr. Chen, when's the last time you did something that wasn't work? Marcus finally looked up. His eyes were dark, unreadable. Work is what I do, Patricia. It's who I am. No, sir, she said quietly. It's what you hide behind. The words hung in the air like smoke. Marcus turned back to his computer. That'll be all. Is success worth being alone? Comment below, and tell us where you're watching from. The coffee shop wasn't Marcus's usual spot. His driver was sick. His regular place was closed for renovation. Small things. Meaningless things. The kind of tiny accidents that change everything. The line was long. Marcus wasn't used to waiting. His jaw tightened. His phone buzzed with ignored calls. And then, "Excuse me, you dropped this." Marcus turned. She stood there holding his titanium pen, the one his father gave him before he died. The only thing Marcus owned that wasn't about business. Her hand was steady, but her eyes were different. They looked at him, but they didn't see his suit or his watch or the power that made other people nervous. She just saw him. "Thank you," Marcus said. "You're welcome." She smiled, not the practiced smile people gave him at galas. A real one. Small. Gone in a moment. She turned to leave. "Wait," Marcus heard himself say. He never said wait. He didn't chase. He didn't ask, "Have we met before?" She looked back, curious. "I don't think so. I'm pretty good with faces." "What's your name?" A pause. Something flickered across her expression. Amusement maybe, or challenge. Does it matter? Marcus blinked. People always told him their names. People always told him everything he wanted to know. "I'm Marcus." "I know who you are." She tilted her head. "Everyone knows who you are. The question is, do you know who you are?" And then she was gone. Disappeared into the morning crowd. Marcus stood there, pen in hand, feeling something he hadn't felt in 15 years. Off balance. For 3 days, Marcus tried to forget her. Tried to focus on the Tokyo merger, the construction project, the 100 things that usually consumed him. He couldn't. He found himself driving past that coffee shop. Once. Twice. 7 times. He, Marcus Chen, who bought buildings without blinking, was circling a coffee shop like a lost teenager. On the 4th day, Patricia knocked on his office door. "Sir, there's someone here to see you. She doesn't have an appointment." Marcus looked up, irritated. "Then tell her to make one." "She said you dropped something. She has your pen." Marcus's heart, that muscle he'd forgotten existed, did something strange. It jumped. "Send her in." The door opened, but it wasn't her. It was a courier, holding his pen and a note. You left this. Again. You should be more careful with things that matter. The woman with no name. Marcus stared at the note, at the handwriting, and for the first time in 15 years he smiled. Actually smiled. Patricia. Clear my afternoon. Sir? I said clear it. I have something to do. Patricia's eyes widened. In 20 years, Marcus Chen had never cleared his afternoon. Where will you be, sir? Marcus was already putting on his coat. I have absolutely no idea. Here's what you need to know about powerful men. They don't wait. They don't wonder. They act. But Marcus Chen, master of the universe, breaker of corporations, spent 6 hours in a coffee shop, drinking terrible coffee, pretending to read the Wall Street Journal, waiting for a woman whose name he didn't know. Day 1, nothing. Day 2, nothing. Day 3, his phone rang 47 times. He ignored 46. Marcus, where the hell are you? His business partner, David. The investors are waiting. Tell them I'm sick. You're never sick. Then tell them I'm dead. Marcus hung up. Drop a face with tears of joy if you do this for someone. Day 4, she walked in. Same quiet confidence. Same eyes that saw too much. She ordered tea, not coffee, and sat by the window. She pulled out a sketchbook. Marcus watched her draw. Her hand moved slowly, carefully, like she was trying to capture something invisible, something true. He waited 30 minutes. 40. An hour. Building courage like he was 16 again. Finally he stood. Walked over. His hands that signed billion-dollar deals without shaking, were trembling. Mind if I sit? She looked up. No surprise. Like she'd known he was there all along. That depends. On what? On whether you're going to ask me my name again. Marcus sat down. What if I said I don't need to know your name to know I want to sit here? Something shifted in her expression. A crack in her armor. Then I'd say you're learning. They sat in silence for 10 minutes. Marcus realized he couldn't remember the last time he'd just sat. Just existed. Without agenda. Without angle. What are you drawing? He finally asked. She turned the sketchbook toward him. It was the view from the window. The street. People walking. But the way she'd drawn it, it looked magical. Like the world was full of stories. I'm trying to see what other people miss, she said. Marcus looked at her. Really looked. What do you see when you look at me? She was quiet for a long moment. A man who's very, very tired. The words hit him like a punch. Because she was right. He was exhausted. He'd been tired for years. Maybe decades. I'm Vivian, she said quietly. Vivian, Marcus repeated. The name felt important. Sacred. And I'm only telling you because I think you might need someone who isn't afraid to tell you the truth. Here's what Hollywood gets wrong about love. They show you the fireworks, the grand gestures, the kiss in the rain that solves everything. But real love is quieter than that. It's meeting for coffee, then meeting again, and again. It's Marcus learning that Vivian was an art teacher at a community center in Queens. That she'd lost her husband 3 years ago. Cancer. That she was learning how to be whole again, piece by piece. It's Vivian learning that Marcus's father had been a janitor who died when Marcus was 19. That Marcus built his empire because he was terrified of being powerless ever again. That he worked himself to exhaustion because stopping meant feeling. It's two broken people, carefully, slowly, learning to be human together. Week 1, coffee 3 times. Conversations about art and business and nothing and everything. Week 2, Marcus took her to a gallery. Walked behind her. Watched her see paintings the way he used to see deals, with complete absorption. You know what I love about art? Vivian said, standing before a Jackson Pollock. It's proof that chaos can be beautiful. Marcus looked at the painting, then at her. I've spent my whole life fighting chaos. I know. She turned to him. That's why you're so tired. Week 3, Vivian brought him to her art class. 20 kids from neighborhoods Marcus only knew as statistics. She handed him a paintbrush. "I don't paint," Marcus said. "Today you do." Marcus Chen, man who controlled billions, stared at a blank canvas like it was a bomb. A little girl named Maya, maybe 9 years old, looked up at him. "You scared?" "No," Marcus lied. "It's okay to be scared. Miss Vivian says art is just feelings with color." Marcus looked at Vivian. She was watching him with those eyes that saw everything. He dipped his brush in black paint. And for the first time in 30 years, Marcus created something that wasn't about money or power. He painted his father's hands. What would you paint? Comment below. They were sitting on a bench in Central Park. November twilight. The cold kind that makes you aware of your breath. "Can I ask you something?" Vivian said. "Anything." "Why did you wait for me?" "In the coffee shop." "For 4 days." Marcus was quiet. He watched the sky turn purple. "Because when you looked at me, I felt seen. Not my company. Not my money. Me. And I realized I couldn't remember the last time anyone actually saw me." Vivian's hand found his. Their fingers laced together. "I'm scared," Marcus admitted. "I don't know how to do this. Be this." "Be what?" "Vulnerable. Open. I built my whole life on being in control." Vivian squeezed his hand. "Marcus, you want to know what real control is?" "What?" "Letting go." They sat in silence. Marcus felt something loosening in his chest. Something that had been locked tight for decades. "My husband James," Vivian said softly. "At the end, he told me something. He said, 'Viv, don't let grief make you small. Don't let losing me teach you not to love.'" Her voice cracked. Marcus pulled her closer. "I tried," she continued. "I tried to stay safe. To protect myself. But then this stubborn businessman kept showing up at my coffee shop, pretending to read the newspaper upside down." Marcus laughed. Actually laughed. "You noticed that?" "Day 1. They kissed. Soft. Careful. Like something precious and fragile." And Marcus Chen, for the first time in his life, felt something more powerful than control. He felt alive. Here's the thing about change. The world doesn't like it. Especially when powerful people start acting human. David, Marcus's business partner, sat across from him in the boardroom. The Hong Kong deal was falling apart. "Marcus, what is happening to you?" "What do you mean?" "You missed 3 meetings last week. You left a negotiation early. Yesterday, you were painting? With children?" Marcus shrugged. "I'm living my life, David. Your life is this company. Our company. Or have you forgotten that?" "No. I've just remembered there's more." David leaned forward. His voice dropped. "Is this about a woman?" Marcus said nothing. "Jesus Christ. It is." David stood up, started pacing. "Marcus, do you know what we've built? Do you know what's at stake?" "I know exactly what's at stake. I'm just not sure it's worth it anymore." The words hung in the air like a grenade. David's face hardened. "You need to fix this. End it. Get your head back in the game. Or so help me, Marcus, You'll what?" Marcus stood. They were the same height, but Marcus suddenly seemed larger. "You'll vote me out? Take my company? Go ahead. Try. The board won't like this." "Then the board can kiss my—" Patricia knocked. "Urgent. Mr. Chen. Emergency. It's the Riverside property. There's been an incident." The Riverside property was Marcus's biggest project. 40-story mixed-use development. His legacy building. But construction had uncovered something. Old pipes. Asbestos. Environmental violations. The city was threatening to shut it down. The investors were panicking. Millions of dollars. Thousands of jobs. Marcus spent 72 hours putting out fires. No sleep. No food. No Vivian. She understood. She said she understood. But on the 3rd night, at 11 p.m., his phone buzzed. A text from a number he didn't recognize. A photo. Vivian. At a restaurant. Smiling. Sitting across from a man. His hand on hers. Marcus's blood turned to ice. Another text. Thought you should know what your girlfriend does when you're too busy. No signature. Marcus stared at the photo. His hands shook. Not from fear. From rage. Pure, burning rage. Marcus drove to the restaurant. 50 in a 30 zone. He didn't care. He burst through the doors. Saw them immediately. Vivian and the man. Laughing. Close. Marcus walked over. His vision tunneled. Marcus. Vivian stood, surprised. What are you? Who is this? Marcus's voice was deadly quiet. This is. I don't care what his name is. I want to know who he is.
To you.
The man stood.
Calm.
Older. Kind eyes. I'm Robert. Vivian's. Stop talking. Marcus turned to Vivian. After everything. After what you said about trust and vulnerability and... Marcus, if you'd just listen.
No.
I'm done listening. I opened up to you. I let you in. And this is what you do. Vivian's eyes filled with tears. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. Marcus turned and walked out. Behind him, Vivian called his name. He didn't stop. For 2 weeks, Marcus didn't answer Vivian's calls. 43 missed calls. 67 texts. He threw himself back into work. Back into the fortress. The Riverside property got fixed. The investors came back. Marcus Chen was in control again. But Patricia watched him. Watched the light go out of his eyes. Sir, there's a... If it's her, tell her I'm unavailable. It's been 2 weeks, Mr. Chen. I'm aware. Sir, I've worked for you for 20 years. And in that time, I've seen you handle hostile takeovers, bankruptcy threats, corporate espionage. But I've never seen you run from something. I'm not running. Then what do you call this? Marcus slammed his hand on the desk. She was with another man, Patricia. In my face. His voice broke. After I let her in, Patricia set down a folder. Before you condemn her, maybe you should read this. What is it? The truth. Inside the folder, a program from a grief support group. 3 years of meetings. Vivian's signature on every attendance sheet. And Robert's. Robert Carter. Widower. Lost his wife 5 years ago. Grief counselor. The man in the photo wasn't Vivian's lover. He was her therapist. Marcus felt the world tilt. There was a note from Vivian. Patricia must have collected it. Marcus, that night I was going to tell you about Robert. About the grief group. About how I've been in therapy for 3 years, learning to live again. Robert helped me understand that it's okay to love someone new. That James would want me to be happy. I was going to introduce you. I was going to tell you everything.
But you didn't let me.
You saw what you expected to see. You saw betrayal because that's what you've been taught to see. Your whole life, you've been building walls. And the moment those walls were threatened, you reinforced them. I understand. I really do. But Marcus, I can't love someone who won't let me in. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. I hope you find peace. I hope you find whatever you're looking for. But I don't think it's me. You never asked. You just assumed. And maybe that's the saddest part of all.
V.
Marcus read the note 3 times. Then he stood up, grabbed his coat, and ran. Marcus drove to the community center where Vivian taught. She wasn't there. He went to the coffee shop. Not there either. He went to her apartment.
Knocked.
No answer.
He called.
Voicemail. 43 times she'd tried to reach him. Now, he couldn't find her. Looking for someone? Marcus turned. It was Maya, the little girl from art class.
Maya. Yes.
Miss Vivian. Do you know where she is? Maya tilted her head. She's at the place where she goes to be sad. What place?
The park.
By the lake. She draws there when she misses her husband. Marcus ran. Will she forgive him? Drop a green heart for yes, broken heart for no. He found her on a bench, sketchbook in her lap, staring at the water. Vivian. She didn't turn around. You shouldn't be here. I know. You made your choice, Marcus. I made a mistake. You didn't trust me. Marcus walked around the bench. knelt in front of her. This man who knelt for no one. You're right. I didn't trust you. But not because of you. Because I've spent 43 years believing that anything good gets taken away. My father died. My mother left. Everyone I ever trusted let me down. So I built walls. And I got really, really good at it. Vivian's eyes were red from crying. But then you happened, Marcus continued. You saw me, the real me, and it was the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced. Because if you really saw me, then you could really hurt me. So when I saw that photo, I didn't see betrayal. I saw confirmation. Proof that I was right to never let anyone in. Marcus. Let me finish. Please. He took her hands. I was wrong. I was so wrong. You tried to tell me, and I didn't listen. I saw what I expected because I was scared. But Vivian, I'm more scared of losing you than I am of being hurt. And that's new for me. That's everything. A tear rolled down Vivian's cheek. Robert's my therapist, she said quietly. He helped me survive when James died. He taught me that grief doesn't mean you stop living. And that night, I was meeting him to tell him about you. To tell him I was ready to move forward. Really move forward. Marcus closed his eyes. I'm so sorry. I know. They sat in silence. The sun was setting. Orange and purple and gold. I don't know if I can do this, Vivian said. Be with someone who runs when things get hard. I won't run again. How do I know that? Marcus pulled something from his pocket. His father's pen. The one that started everything. This is the only thing I have left of my dad. It's worth more to me than my entire company. I want you to keep it. Marcus, I can't. Not as a gift. As a promise. As proof. When things get hard, and they will, you hold this and remember that I chose you. Over my fear. Over my walls. Over everything. Vivian took the pen. Held it like it was made of glass. I'm not going to lie, she said. You hurt me. I know. And this isn't fixed. We're not just okay now. I know. We have to work at this. Every day.
You have to choose to let me in.
Even when it's scary. I will. I promise. I will. Vivian looked at him. Really looked. And Marcus let her. Didn't hide.
Didn't deflect.
Come here, she said softly. Marcus stood. Sat beside her. Vivian leaned her head on his shoulder. He wrapped his arm around her. I'm still mad at you, she whispered. You should be. And you have to meet Robert.
Properly.
As my friend. And apologize. I will. I'll apologize to everyone. I'll apologize to the entire city if you want. She smiled. Just a little. That won't be necessary. They watched the sun sink below the skyline. Marcus's phone buzzed.
Work.
He glanced at it, then turned it off. What are you doing? Vivian asked. Choosing. I'm choosing this.
Right now.
You and me and this moment. Vivian turned to face him. Marcus Chen. Did you just turn off your phone? I did. Who are you, and what have you done with the workaholic I fell for? Marcus laughed. Kissed her forehead. He's still here. But he's learning.
Thanks to you.
Thanks to us. Vivian corrected. Thanks to us. Marcus still worked. Still ran his company. Still built buildings. But now, every Tuesday night, he taught art at the community center. With Vivian. With Maya and 20 other kids who reminded him that success wasn't measured in square footage. He met Robert properly. They had coffee. Marcus apologized. Robert, being Robert, just smiled and said, she chose well. The Riverside property finished construction. But Marcus added something. A community art gallery on the ground floor. Free admission. In memory of James. For the future. Patricia said he smiled more now.
Laughed.
Left work before midnight. David said he'd lost his edge. Marcus said he'd found something better. On a quiet Sunday morning, Marcus and Vivian sat in their coffee shop. The one where it all began. What are you thinking about? Vivian asked. Marcus looked at her. At this woman who'd broken through walls he didn't know he could climb over. I'm thinking that for 15 years, I thought control was strength. I thought being powerful meant being alone. I thought vulnerability was weakness. And now I know that the most powerful thing I ever did was let you in." Vivian squeezed his hand. "Also," Marcus added with a grin, "I'm thinking that I've been reading the newspaper right side up for 6 months, and you never said anything." Vivian laughed. That real laugh. The one Marcus would never get tired of hearing. "Some things," she said, "are worth waiting for." And Marcus Chen, the man who once controlled everything and everyone, leaned across the table and kissed the woman who taught him that the best things in life are the ones you can't control at all. Drop a red heart if you believe in second chances. Because here's the truth about love. It's not about grand gestures or perfect moments. It's about showing up. It's about being seen. It's about choosing someone every day, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Marcus thought power was control. But real power? Real power is letting someone hold your heart and trusting them not to drop it. Thanks for watching. If this story touched your heart, like, comment, and subscribe. Because everyone deserves a love story. Even powerful men who've forgotten how to feel. Until next time, choose love. Even when it scares you. Especially when it scares you. Every story here carries a lesson, a warning, or a miracle. Subscribe. Your next breakthrough might be one story away. The end.